in the marketing for a band like that. Well, we'll focus on the area of expertise I actually do have, which is on a football pitch as well. And it looks like we're ready to get the action underway using one of the Euro 2024 footballs for proceedings tonight. Well, welcome to the Audi Summer Tour 2024 and welcome to Seoul, South Korea, where Bayern are taking on Tottenham as pre-season preparations continue in earnest ahead of the start of the 2024-25 campaign. Bayern in South Korea for the first time ever to connect with a growing fan base and take in some of these sights and sounds that Seoul has to offer, the South Korean capital. But it's not all fun and games, and tonight we get a first real gauge of how far advanced their preparations are under new head coach Vincent Kompany. Tell flagged for offside. It was a tight call, but already you see the signal of intent here from Bayern. A lot of their drills in training have been about breaking down opponents, playing off the shoulder for the last man, working the channels. Tell has the pace to keep the ball in here. Back up from Guerrero. Goes to Pavlovic instead. Now Guerrero with his first touch. And it's a neat one as well. Thomas Muller flitting between the lines as he loves to do. Serge Gnabry at the back post! And almost an early opener here for Bayern. Serge Gnabry, who has a bit of history with Tottenham, having once scored 4 goals in a single Champions League game against them for Bayern. Just couldn't find the back of the net on that occasion. Heung-min Son, as he so often does, getting a bit of the rough treatment, this time from Sacha Boey. He is such a danger man. That is how teams often resort to handling his level of threat. Gnabry. Oh, it's a lovely ball to release the run of Brennan Johnson. Stanisic across to cover, uses his body well. Wonderful defending there from the Bayern centre-back. The only player on the Bayern books who picked up a Bundesliga's winners' medal last season, having been on the books with Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen on loan from Bayern. In the end, a bit of a win-win situation for him in many regards. Had he stayed in Munich, he'd have got a lot of game time. But he went to Leverkusen, got plenty of game time, won a League and Cup double, and had a significant part to play in it as well. Josip Stanisic, 38 appearances, 4 goals, 6 assists in all competitions for Bayer Leverkusen. That did, of course, include a goal in the 3-0 win that Leverkusen secured against Bayern. A game and a result that really was a pendulum swinger in the title race. Oh, risky pass. Gnabry is in. And on the follow-up, Bayern have the lead. Gabriel Vidovic breaking the deadlock. Bayern starting on the front foot. And rewarding themselves with the opening goal. And it's the young 20-year-old Gabriel Vidovic pouncing on the chance after a mix-up at the back by Tottenham. But I tell you what, Bayern have started this game really sharply. They look fired up, they look on it, and they're catching out Tottenham's mistakes. If this is a Tottenham side a little tired from their pre-season exertions, Bayern look ready to punish them. And you gotta love it, even the Bayern goal music has made its way to Seoul, South Korea as well. But a brilliant start to this encounter for the German record title holders. The early effort from Serge Gnabry followed up by this opener from Gabriel Vidovic, and the confidence streaming through this Bayern team. Gnabry, oh, what a ball that is. Well, goodness me, I mean, this is night and day in terms of Bayern's performance levels compared to the 1-1 draw with Erste FC Düren. Vincent Kompany has clearly been bolstered by some of the returning players, but the message, you can tell, is really getting through now as his vision of what he wants from this Bayern team is taking shape. Interesting tonight, though, he's gone for a 4-man backline as opposed to a 3-man, maybe showing that he has a bit of tactical versatility in his locker. For now, first corner of the game for Bayern. Dragoshin with the clearance, but it wasn't a convincing one, and Bayern are harrying these Spurs players at every opportunity. I mean, maintaining these intensity levels for the full 90 minutes will be very difficult, but Kompany did admit that they're going to divide the game time. Goodness me, I mean, Tottenham, some of the defending that we're seeing from them here is right off the top shelf in terms of the risk level. Undeterred, I mean, look at this. Look at how pinned inside their own box they are. And I mean, that's a wonderful pass from Vicario to break the lines, threading the needle between Tell and Guerrero to find Kulusevski. Min Jae Kim just a little overzealous in his actions there, but he'll know that all eyes will be on him and Heung-min Son today. He said he's a player that doesn't like a lot of attention, says there are a lot of Bayern players, a lot of his teammates that are more popular, more famous. But in South Korea, when you are the reigning South Korean player of the year, it's hard to beat that level of stature. Kim winning the award on the back of winning the Serie A title with Napoli. Said that 2023 was the most special year of his life, but it shouldn't stop there. Manuel Neuer taking the sting out of the situation with a simple raise of the hand there. Kompany just proving he's still got a decent touch on him there. With a little flick to Sacha Boey, who, by all accounts, seems to be the first choice right back. Lots of questions for Vincent Kompany to answer before the start of the season, which is just less than 2 weeks away now. Heung-min Son, though, no one closing him down. Heung-min Son! Well, how many times have we seen him curl efforts from those types of positions into the top corner? On this occasion, got up and under the ball, but Bayern served fair warning that they don't want to allow Heung-min Son the time and space to have a crack on goal like that. The first real foray forward from Tottenham there, though. Now, ball well won by Kimmich in midfield. Pavlovic, lovely turn just to escape the pressure that Pape Sarr was trying to apply. Great to see him back in action, Pavlovic. Said he had his dreams dashed this summer when he wasn't able to compete at Euro 2024. Despite being called up by Julian Nagelsmann, his tonsillitis issues once again reared their ugly head, and as a result, he decided to go under the knife, has his tonsils removed, and Emre Can, the Borussia Dortmund captain, was the man called up in his place as Germany went to the quarterfinals where they lost to eventual winners Spain. Not saying that had Pavlovic been in that team, it would have been a different result, but you never know. Oh, Gnabry. Neat little touch, lovely ball to find Pavlovic. A risky ball as well, but maybe that's something that Bayern have worked on this summer under Kompany. Willing to take the risks with their passes a little bit more often. Now pressure. Kulusevski twisting, turning. Kulusevski blocked in the end by Stanisic. Marvellous defending from both of the Bayern centre-backs in conjunction with one another. It needed the double up to deal with the threat of Dejan Kulusevski. Momentarily they had the numbers advantage. Stanisic read the situation really well there. Neuer not called into action. Maddison. His corner met by the head of Josip Stanisic. Pedro Porro picks up the pieces. Watch the numbers, that's very interesting. I'm assuming he's talking about positional overloads in certain areas of the pitch. Right now, Heung-min Son in the middle, waiting for the cross that did come, but Sacha Boey. Bit of last-ditch defending at its finest there, as he scrambled the ball out of play for a corner. And Postecoglou's side have fallen behind in this game, but are growing into the encounter, and this is a strong phase of play from the men in white. And Dragoshan was very close to getting his head on that Maddison corner. Kompany, talking before this game, said that last season, Bayern's first trophyless season since 2012, does not need to define this season for any player. He says what he expects is a reaction, and he said he's seen it in training so far. He wants to keep seeing it in pre-season, and then ultimately he wants to see it when Bayern take on SSV Ulm in the first round of the DFB Pokal. Gnabry, cut back to Tell. Now with Pavlovic, drop of the shoulder. Just tried to weave his way through there, Alexander Pavlovic. In the end, the corridors were all a little too congested. Kim penalised for a late challenge on Brennan Johnson. Bit of a physical mismatch there. Kim claiming it was a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. But his shoulder up against the shoulder of Brennan Johnson is a bit of a mismatch. One of the questions that Kompany has to answer is what to do with Joshua Kimmich. Does Vincent Kompany see Kimmich as a midfielder? Does he see him as a right back? And the initial indication based on tonight, given the fact that this is Kimmich's first appearance in pre-season, is that he sees him as a midfielder. A pairing of Kimmich and Pavlovic. I mean, in those positions, they do now have a plethora of options, it has to be said, Bayern. Kimmich, Pavlovic, Leon Goretzka, Konrad Laimer, Joao Paulinho, the new summer signing from Premier League side Fulham, who we're expecting to see later on in this game. Of course, Rafa Guerreiro can play there as well. I mean, they really are well set when it comes to their options in central midfield, but it does mean it's going to be mightily competitive for a lot of players that will want a lot of game time. Kompany has talked about the fact that he feels that the Bayern players are used to meeting the highest standards, so he doesn't feel like he has to instill that need in them as Tell is penalised for offside, not for the first time tonight. That one, I have to admit, didn't look like the flag should have got up. Just about when the touch was made there in the challenge. Well seen by the assistant on the near side. Marvellous anticipation there from Josip Stanisic. Unfortunately, a heavy touch prevented Bayern making more of that moment. A quarter of an hour played here in the Seoul World Cup Stadium in South Korea. You're here with us on FC Bayern TV+. Thanks for joining. Delighted to have the pleasure of your company for this, the third pre-season fixture that Bayern have had this summer. Started with a 14-1 win against Rotach Egan, a 9th tier side. Then there was a 1-1 draw against 1. FC Düren, a 4th tier side. And now today taking on London-based Premier League outfit Tottenham. All part of the dealings that saw Harry Kane join the club. There was an agreement that there would be some pre-season friendlies at some point. It's just a shame that Harry Kane unable to feature today against his former club. Eric Dyer is on the bench and will likely come off it as there's a bit of a trip of the heels there. And, well, no foul given. In a more competitive context, there would have been a bigger protest there, I reckon, because it was a clear trip of the heels, whether it was intentional or not. Stopping Tottenham in their tracks momentarily at a very promising moment in the game. Again, Min Jae Kim, always on the front foot, always aggressive. He says he believes that those are two qualities that mean that there are similarities between him and his head coach, Vincent Kompany, who he referred to as a top-class centre-back. Said he's trying to learn and listen when it comes to his interactions with the Belgian. It's just been great to hear these Bayern players talk about a fresh impetus, a fresh approach being brought in by Vincent Kompany and his coaching staff. Certainly a different feel to training sessions where the warm-ups sometimes now start with a couple of speakers blaring out the party beats that would not be out of place in clubs in Ibiza. It's all part of a philosophy that he wants to instill at Bayern when it comes to injecting a bit more of the fun back into the game. Warm-ups can sometimes be seen as a chore, but he wants to make them a little bit more enjoyable. Of course, when the ball gets rolling and they're doing the individual drills, the music gets turned off. Muller wants it back from Tell. Tell bearing down on goal! Vicario with the save, and this time there is no follow-up effort. The chance still alive, though, here with Tell. Guerrero. Bayern get a corner for their efforts here. Matisse Tell with his first real sight of goal, stinging the palms of the Tottenham #1 Vicario. Well, this is the party piece for Matisse Tell in terms of cutting in off that left wing onto his favoured right foot and trying to curl it towards goal. Didn't quite get his angles right there, but Kompany liking what he's seeing from the young Frenchman. Whipped to the back post by Kimmich, and Gnabry was loitering. And Kulusevski with a necessary intervention. Again, given the high temperatures, it is evening time now, but it's been above 30 degrees all day in the South Korean capital. At kickoff, we were at 32 degrees centigrade. And it has been a very intense start to this game. You can see the sweat pouring off the faces of some of these players. Kimmich. Kim! Oh, what a moment that would be. Min-jae Kim. Here on home soil. A moment that you reckon could probably blow the roof off the Seoul World Cup Stadium. Here's Vidovic, the goal scorer. Needed that ball to go to the right channel, instead went left when Boe and Gnabry had made great runs into space. Boe's done well to recover quickly there to chase down Heung-min Son and force the mistake out of the South Korean superstar. He still gets a cheer even if he runs the ball out of play. That's how popular Heung-min Son is here. Can do no wrong. Min-jae Kim getting similar treatment as well, it has to be said. Kim again reading the play well, but Tottenham keeping themselves on the front foot here as they earn another corner. Chance just to revisit the opening goal. Made by Serge Gnabry, finished by Gabriel Vidovic, but were it not for Gnabry's press, anticipation, drive, desire, whatever you want to call it, that goal doesn't happen. Vidovic, the grateful recipient of a relatively simple finish. And that is the difference between these two sides. Looking to improvise, James Maddison in trying to find Archie Gray, who's had a very good pre-season by all accounts. Maddison, after an injury-hit season, will be hoping to bounce back in the current campaign under Ange Postecoglou. Chance of Super Bayern, hey, hey. Great to hear in the South Korean capital. Pavlic loses out in midfield. Kim recovering the situation, and now Guerrero, that wonderful left foot of his, can just take the sting out of the situation entirely. First touch just kills the ball, and all of a sudden a panicky situation becomes a calm one. What a ball that is from Pavlovic to find Boe. Now to Gnabry. Gnabry goes it alone. Says Gnabry sees his effort blocked in the end. And the former Arsenal man, there's something about taking on Tottenham that just seems to bring the best out of him, even in pre-season. Now Boe, space out wide. Lovely dummy. Gnabry again, deflected. Well, Vicario would have been helpless. But the deflection, taking the effort from Serge Gnabry off target. I'll tell you what a live wire he's proving to be. Every promising moment seems to be going through Serge Gnabry, and what a view we have here. The referee cam giving us the up-close and personal view on proceedings. Would have had a great angle there for a goal had Serge Gnabry scored it. Instead, it's a corner that almost turned into a goal. Well saved by Vicario. And the Tottenham counter is stifled by Bayern. Bit of rough treatment for Sacha Boey, and then a huge tug from James Maddison on Gabriel Vidovic. 20 years old, Vidovic joined Bayern back in 2016. 4 appearances with the senior squad. He made his debut back in April of 2021 against Arminia Bielefeld, and then it was the season after that he had his last appearance for Bayern in a 7-0 win against Bochum. Since then he's had loan spells with Dutch side Vitesse, and most recently last season Dinamo Zagreb in his native Croatia. Made 40 appearances, scored 9 goals, got 3 assists, Gabriel Vidovic. The question really is, does he have enough in his game to really establish himself in the Bayern senior squad? Right now, Vincent Kompany clearly willing to give him a look. Talked about the fact he's gaining a good impression of some of these young players, Vincent Kompany. Vidovic, one of those that has made the trip to South Korea, along with the likes of Javier Fernandez, Adam Asnu, Adin Lichina. And now we're going to have a drinks break. Fear not, it's not half-time yet. That would be too early, but given the fact that the summer climbs here in South Korea are demanding and rather exhausting, this is a necessary cooling period as players get to rehydrate, having lost a fair bit of liquid through the sweat they've poured out so far in this encounter. But what a game it's been. First real barometer of where Bayern are in their pre-season preparations. Well, you can tell how hot it is when the fans need to wear fans around their neck to cool off tonight. Agony and ecstasy in a way that only football can produce. Again, here we see the ref cam for one of the best chances that Tottenham have had so far. Josip Stanisic, though, closing the door at the last to deny Kulusevski. An incredible backdrop in a magnificent stadium. Out of the 2002 World Cup that was jointly hosted by Japan and South Korea. There we see the referee cam. I mean, bless him. He's carrying a bit of extra weight there on account of the technology needed to get that unique perspective out on the pitch. These are the advancements in modern football. Bayern are wearing their new away kit as well, but it's a special printing on the back inspired by the traditional Korean architectural style of chuma. Fun fact for you there. But they did a kit launch here in the South Korean capital with a pop-up store, Bayern, and as a result, certainly driving this new look away kit to the masses. Got to say, it certainly catches the eye in terms of its design. As a commentator, doesn't make it easy to spot the numbers on the backs of the shirts, but Guerrero there spotting the intent of the pass, and there's a chance on. It's a 3-on-3 break. Muller and Tell have Vidovic in support. Tell looking for Vidovic, and were it not for the defensive efforts of the Tottenham captain Heung-min Son, I reckon Vidovic might have been backing his brace there. But this is a captain leading by example. A full sprint from one end of the pitch to the other to make sure a Bayern counter-attack does not double their advantage. Go back to a statement from legendary Bayern midfielder Bastian Schweinsteiger, who said that he once told Arjen Robben, "You can get the crowd to cheer for you not just by scoring goals, but by defending as well." Son proving that point too. For now, Kimmich, change of angle from the corner. Sacha Boey, about 30 yards out from goal. Delicate clip to Gnabry. This is lovely from Bayern. And Müller was ready to pounce, but the offside flag would have denied him anyway. Just went a fraction early with his run there, Serge Gnabry. But the intent, the idea, clear to see. Bayern mixing things up when it comes to their work in the final third as they look to break down this Tottenham side, giving them different looks, different approaches. Sometimes a delicate pass over the top, sometimes looking to work the channels, sometimes play through the target man, which at times is Matisse Tel, but admittedly, I think today it seems to be like Gabriel Vidovic is playing more as the lone striker. Tel seems to be playing as a left winger. And it really is your pick between Vidovic and Müller as to who's the lone striker. But this is part of what Vincent Kompany has been talking about this summer since joining Bayern, is that he doesn't really believe in systems, formations in the classical sense. It's all about roles and getting these players to interpret the roles. But Tel says he prefers to play on the wing, and that's where Kompany is playing him as a result. Bayern's press broken there by Tottenham. Pedro Porro. Space to work with. Numbers to work with. Finds Maddison, who then moves the ball on to Heung-min Son. Spence. Looking for support. Kompany calling for a shift up from his back line. Min-jae Kim again coming through the back of an opponent. This time not penalised, despite the fact that he has left. I believe it's Dejan Kulusevski prone. In 36 appearances, 1 goal in his debut season for Bayern. Min-jae Kim, that goal coming in a 3-0 win against Stuttgart back on match day 15. He was the first Asian player to ever, the first Asian defender ever, to be nominated for the Ballon d'Or after his exploits with Napoli last season. 45 appearances for the Italian club, 2 goals scored and 1 Serie A title to his name as well. And I think the Tottenham kits maybe just about outnumber the Bayern ones. There, another glance at New Jeans, the South Korean K-pop band who have swapped out their attire for some more appropriate footballing attire. Just over half an hour played, in case you're just joining us here on FC Bayern TV+. Delighted to have your company for this clash of the Titans, so to say, in Seoul, South Korea at the World Cup Stadium. Bayern 1-0 up thanks to an early effort from Gabriel Vidovic. They really came herring out of the blocks, Bayern. One of their classic, trademark, fast starts, and they rewarded themselves with an early opener. Vidovic scoring after Serge Gnabry had pounced on a mishap at the back from Tottenham. The opening goal coming inside the opening 4 minutes. Both sides have had chances to add to the scoreline, but Manuel Neuer and Vicario, his Spurs counterpart, have been equal to the efforts that have come their way. Both sides, though, with a clear intent to press high. Some very risky play being produced, but that is the joy of pre-season, is that you can take a few more risks. It's really dynamic in terms of Bayern's approach when in possession now under Vincent Kompany. It's not to say it wasn't under Julian Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel, but it seemed to be a lot more practical, pragmatic and patient at times as well. Whereas there's a real zip to this performance in a game where we are getting, let's be honest, our first real gauge of where Bayern are at ahead of the start of the season, which is just under 2 weeks away. But 10 minutes of this first half now remaining. Great vision to see Mathys Tel in space. Plenty of teammates to aim for in the box. Cross deflected, comes to Gnabry. Little triangle with Gnabry, Muller and Boe. Kimmich getting involved to make it a square. And now forced to retreat given the fact they weren't able to capitalise on the overload in that area of the pitch. Right now, the right-back role looks to be Sacha Boey's to lose, a player that was signed in the winter break from Galatasaray. Oh, Kulusevski denied what would have been a game-opening pass by Josip Stanisic, who, have to say, is catching the eye tonight in terms of some very impressive defending, in terms of vision, overview, timing, giving us a bit of everything. And now look at this. Pass to spread the play right to feet for Boe. What a first touch. Vidovic wants it into feet and gets it. Muller's behind him. Tel's on the far side. Vidovic has spotted Mathys Tel. Mathys Tel goes it alone and doesn't find the top corner. A matter of inches in it there from Mathys Tel, who must have thought he doubled Bayern's advantage. Wonderful play from Vidovic in the build-up. Tel went into the congested area but found that channel. Just a little too much pace, not enough bend on the effort. But here he has another opportunity. Look to turn provider, Pavlovic. Couldn't pick out Muller, who was unmarked at the back post. Now Boe on the overlap. Muller down to Vidovic. The spaces are all so tight. The time at a premium. But now, oh, Kimmich almost with a killer pass. Vidovic, though, winning the ball back immediately. Now Gnabry. Gnabry! Well, they had Tottenham pinned inside their own box there, Bayern. But can't make the pressure count. Vidovic, again, involved in some of the most positive moments for Bayern here tonight. But it had to be intricate, it had to be neat. And Gnabry went for the curler that just drifted wide of the far corner, and now Tel up against Dragosha. And he loves it, Mathys Tel. Loves the pressure he's applying, loves the mistakes he's forcing out of this Tottenham backline at times. And that could be said for this whole Bayern team. Ange Postecoglou. Seen his side carve out a couple of good chances. Now needs them to find the clinical touch. A good cross dealt with by Spence. But again, Bayern showing that they can break you down through the middle. They don't mind crossing the ball into the box. When you've got a player like Harry Kane on your books, then it's worth investing in your deliveries from out wide. Of course, Kane unavailable for selection right now after his exploits with England at Euro 2024, where they fell agonisingly short in the final once again. Guerrero drop of the shoulder. Kim coming back from an offside position. Oh, Kim wasn't to be beaten not once but twice there against Kulusevski. He really does feel like an all-or-nothing centre-back at times, Min-Jae Kim. Of course, he was a bit of a tragic hero at the back end of last season, where his starting burst had been reduced after his exploits with South Korea at the Asian Cup. I hold the thought there because Gnabry in behind. Heels clipped by Spence, and it's going to be a free kick for Bayern and a yellow card for Spence. Couldn't really go unpunished there, could it? No denial of a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity, though, and as a result won't be a red card. Sure, Gnabry, Kompany, and people might have asked more questions of it had it been a competitive fixture, but in the context of this game, a yellow card and a free kick, an acceptable outcome in that situation. Can Bayern make something of this free kick now? Kimmich and Guerrero standing over the ball, one right-footed, one left-footed. What shape do they want as they look to pick out teammates? Müller on the move. It is Kimmich. Lovely ball from Kimmich, and Dragoshin had to get there. Bayern not giving up on the chance of a second goal just yet, though. Oh, the crowd loving what they're seeing. Guerrero to the byline. Matisse Tell can't make the most of the chance. First touch needed to be a touch better, but in the end, it just allowed Vicario to close down the angle and apply the pressure that prevented Tell from really finishing that chance the way he wanted to, the way he's capable of. Oh, Kimmich didn't win the first press, but won at the second attempt. And now a chance for Vidovic again to Guerrero. Maybe could have gone with one more pass, Guerrero, on that occasion. Instead, his shot saved by Vicario. But this high press from Bayern, they started the first half with the intensity and ambition, and they're finishing the first half in the same vein. And right now, you have to say, they are giving Tottenham all sorts of problems when it comes to the pressure they're applying. The only issue you have when you're watching a performance like this for Bayern is you do wonder how many teams are going to play like this against them in the coming season. Not many teams will go at them the way Tottenham want to here. Not many teams will try and play out from the back the way Tottenham are. Stanisic backed up by sweeper keeper Manuel Neuer. Maddison turns well away from pressure. Oh, lovely footwork from James Maddison. The ball through to Heung-min-son, who probably should have taken that effort first time. The chance was there, but he wanted extra touches and it cost him. Spence. I have to say it was marvellous work from Maddison to create the chance. Gnabry feeding the run of Boe. 50-50, and the corner goes the way of the German record title holders. I mean, he has been full of running, Sacha Boe. I mean, he looks absolutely knackered. Vincent Kompany did say of his players that it's okay for them not to be 100% physically fit right now at this stage of their pre-season preparations, but he wanted them mentally sharp. I think it's exactly what he's getting from them as well. But they really are leaving it all on the line in their most competitive pre-season fixture of the summer so far, giving a great account of themselves and on course to take at least a one-goal lead in at the break, though they wouldn't say no to a second here from this Kimmich corner. Kim again attacks but doesn't get there. Guerrero! Oh, he has a magical left foot. But even he is human, as that shot proves. But he was a midfielder under Thomas Tuchel more often than not so far in pre-season, has been filling in at left-back Rafael Guerrero. Here's an area of the pitch or a position where Bayern don't have the most depth. Alphonso Davies, of course, the first choice. Rafael Guerrero, Hiroki Ito, the summer signing from Stuttgart, who unfortunately missed out on this trip after breaking a bone in his foot in the 1-1 draw against Düren. Wishing him a speedy recovery, not the way he would have wanted to start life with his new club. Serge Gnabry. You can tell there are some tired legs out there now for Bayern, given their intense excerpts in the opening 47 going on 48 minutes now. I didn't see the fourth official flash or board up for how many minutes would be added on at the end of this first half, but there might be one more chance left in it for Bayern. Bit of first time passing, Kimmich. Well, I thought there was going to be one more chance in it. The referee didn't fancy it, and as a result, it is Bayern who lead by a 1-0 at the break in the Seoul World Cup Stadium. Gabriel Vidovic with the only goal of the game, a poacher's effort, breaking the deadlock early. A very positive first half performance from Bayern, one they will look to build on in the second half, where of course there will be a few changes made from the substitutions bench, but plenty of more action to come, I'm sure. For now, I'll leave you with the half-time highlights. And of course, we're going to give you a couple of features to enjoy as well. The first will be a one-on-one sit-down with Min-jae Kim, though I will advise you it will be in German. So if you want to watch it in English, go to Bayern's official website, fcbayern.com, right now to watch that interview in English. Then there's also a feature featuring Matisse Tell and Alexander Pavlovich as they hit up a street food market. For now, I'll leave you there. Join me again for the second half shortly. We know exactly all the changes that have been made. I will be sure to list them off for you. Always one of the challenges of pre-season when there are a plethitude of changes made at one time. Brennan Johnson coming off worse for wear in the first challenge of the second half. welcome to life as a Bayern player, João Palhinha. Our first look at the Portuguese international in a Bayern kit, and his first involvement maybe gives you an indicator of what his role might be like in this Bayern midfield. He will be the enforcer. He will be the man that's snapping at the heels of some of the more progressive opponents he comes up against. There, Adin Lecina, one of the young 17-year-olds that's caught the eye in pre-season as well, along with Javier Fernandez, invited to work with the senior squad by Vincent Kompany. And Lecina, ooh, great press there, and actually a little unlucky to be penalised. He bagged a brace in the 14-1 win against Rotach Egen. Bayern had to be patient for their opening goal in that game, but Lecina then scored a quick-fire double to get the goals flowing for Bayern. Reich with the long release. Lecina finding Zaragoza. Now into feet for Lima. I've got a minute. I'm still trying to work out who has come off here, but I think Matisse Tell is the only man in the front line, at least, that stayed on the pitch. But it looks like Leon Goretzka's playing in the role that we saw Thomas Müller and Gabriel Vidovic operate in. But it almost does look a little bit different because Tell was a lot wider in the first half. Maybe it's him and Lecina now operating as a two-man front line with Goretzka in the 10. Lima can't give chase here in his first appearance of pre-season, but he had the wherewithal to recover as Kulusevski strikes and sends it just wide of the target. The closest Tottenham have come to scoring so far tonight. That was a moment where you did notice it is pre-season. That's why Konrad Lima could not bust a gut that he normally would to try and chase the runner. Right now Matisse Tell doing a lot of running as well. A couple of one-on-one conversations with Kompany in training recently. Matisse Tell seems to be really thriving under his new head coach. Again, the high press from Bayern, forcing the mistake out of Pape Sarr this time, but Sarr recovers. Vital interception, the pass from Tell there at the end of that moment. Couldn't have been a little bit more proficient. Kompany urging his players to get back now, and Goretzka happy to accept the tactical foul and a yellow card to ultimately stop Tottenham in their tracks. First yellow card of the game for a Bayern player. Lucas Bergvall hauled to ground there by Leon Goretzka. Rice clearance goes straight to Jed Spence. Zaragoza retreats. And in the end, sloppy from Spurs. Nice run, spotted. Made by Heung-min Son, as we see there. Confirmation, Basuma, Emerson and Lucas Bergvall have come on for Tottenham. Here is Bergvall. Catches the eye with those blonde locks of his out on the pitch. A wonderful challenge there by João Paulinho. Talked about it being a dream come true to join Bayern. One that he thought might have escaped him when the initial deal to bring him to Bayern fell through at the last in the January transfer window because Fulham weren't able to find a replacement player that they could sign, and that's why they didn't then give Paulinho permission to actually join Bayern. He said he's proud of the achievement, that his aim is trophies, trophies, trophies. And those are the words that Bayern fans will want to hear. And this is the sights they'll want to see. Zaragoza, lovely ball in behind for Brian Zaragoza. And Vicario equal to the effort. Zaragoza still on the ball. Still looking to make things happen. And in the end, the chance peters out. And after a very strong start to this second half from Tottenham, Bayern break forward, and Josip Stanisic in the more unfamiliar position of playing the creative midfielder role, but lovely ball through to Zaragoza. Right idea to go across Vicario, but Vicario with the save. Going to be another corner for Bayern. See Eric Dyer stripped off and ready to come on. So too Adam Asnu. Good corner. Met by the head of João Paulinho. That would have been quite the introduction in his first appearance as a Bayern player to score his opening goal with, what, less than 9 minutes on the clock in his debut. Admittedly, though, goal scoring is not what João Paulinho has been brought to Bayern to do. I won't say no to him chipping in, but his qualities as a defensive midfielder that made him such an attractive prospect. Unlucky in conjunction there with Guerrero that they didn't squeeze possession out of Bergvall. Kulusevski. Johnson gets it back, and a very difficult ball to take into his stride. Had to improvise and did, but overruns it in the end. Now a moment for Min Jae Kim to receive his flowers. The reigning South Korean Player of the Year. Enjoying the moment here on home soil. A shared South Korean culture and the culinary experiences at the very least with his Bayern teammates. Now replaced by Eric Dyer. Rafael Guerrero making way for Adam Asnu in a like-for-like change. Asnu, who really impressed in the 1-1 draw against 1. FC Dürren. Disappointing result for Bayern, but there were positive moments in it. Right now, Tell's on the run. Zaragoza's offside, but Goretzka isn't! And on the follow-up, Goretzka makes it 2. Denied at the first, but not to be denied at the second. And Bayern double their advantage with less than 10 minutes on the clock in the second half. Goretzka, one of the half-time substitutes, with a trademark box-to-box run. But he didn't give up on the chance, and after he saw his initial effort saved, he made no mistake with the rebound. A bursting run from Goretzka that has the desired result at the end of it. The only player that really stayed alert to the prospect of there being a second chance opportunity there. A summer of hardship for Leon Goretzka, as he did not get a call up to the German national team for Euro 2024. Hold the thought there, because that was a fizzing shot from Heung-min Son. Well saved by Sven Ulreich, but a warning shot that Tottenham aren't out of this just yet. It is in 13 days' time, so less than 2 weeks away. Bayern getting their competitive campaign underway in the first round of the DFB Pokal, where they will be on foreign soil, as is the traditional case here in Germany, where the bigger, more established teams always travel to the smaller clubs. It is a chance for the smaller clubs to line their pockets with a little bit of extra matchday cash. Bayern this season being pitted against SSV Ulm, a side that have just won promotion back up into Bundesliga 2. Right now, Bergvall had a lot of time and space there, didn't go for the shot first time, and in the end, the chance comes to nothing. Bundesliga 2 has actually gotten underway this weekend. It kicked off last night with a game between Köln and Hamburg, 2-1 by Hamburg. More action today as well. Ulm, Bayern's cup opponents, won't be in action until tomorrow. You never know. Bayern might just tune in from South Korea to see how their opponents fare. If not, there I'm sure will be a video analysis session at some point in the lead up to that first round tie. Bayern would love to get their hands back on the DFB Pokal title, one that they haven't won since 2020. Back then they beat Bayer Leverkusen quite handsomely in Berlin. And that ultimately is the mission this season. Dethrone Bayer Leverkusen. They won the league and cup double. Right now, poor pass from Eric Dyer, up against his former club. Has let Tottenham in here, but he's rescued by Sven Ulreich. Magnificent save from Bayern's deputy goalkeeper to keep the 2-0 lead intact here. But Eric Dyer was playing with fire and almost got burnt there. We've seen some risky passes played by Bayern today. That was the riskiest of the lot, and it almost cost them. Eric Dyer, who made 364 appearances in all competitions over the spell or the course of his Tottenham career. Player that left his home country of England as a 8-year-old when his mother got a job at Euro 2004 in Portugal, and they moved to Portugal. They stayed in Portugal. Dyer coming through the ranks of the Sporting Lisbon Academy. Tell wants it back from Zaragoza, who tried to return the favour. And Adam Asnu there, making his presence felt at the back post against Pedro Porro. Now, Vincent Kompany talking about the fact that the priority is to build fitness for his side as they continue their preparations for that first competitive game of the season. When he talked about the summer signings, though, Hiroki Ito from Stuttgart, Joao Paulinho from Fulham, and Michael Olise from Crystal Palace, who's currently on national team duty with the France under-23s at the Paris Olympics, where he's having a very good tournament by all accounts. France knocking out Argentina last night by 1-0. He got the assist for the goal, had another effort ruled out. Olise with 1 goal and 3 assists already at the Olympics. I think that is a player that Bayern fans can get very excited about. Again, we've talked about the competition for places at centre-back with De Ligt, Kim, Dyer, Stanisic, Upamecano. The competition for places in midfield with Goretzka, Lima, Kimmich, Pavlovic and Paulinho. And the competition for places in wide positions as well. Olise, Gnabry, Leroy Sané and Kingsley Coman. Not to mention Brian Zaragoza and up-and-coming prospects like Adin Lachina as well. Goretzka wanted to move the ball quickly, but tripped up by Dejan Kulusevski. Got more changes ready to be made by Tottenham. Oliver Skipp, Jamie Donnelly coming on. It was interesting as well in the pre-match press conference. Vincent Kompany talked about the fact that Tottenham had, or were a little further advanced, in their pre-season preparations. A couple of more competitive fixtures under their belts. I think it was 4 all told that he referenced, the Belgian. And so the thought was maybe that Tottenham would be more in their rhythm, would be sharper here today. If anything, they look a little tired based on their previous exertions in pre-season, whereas Bayern, who've only got 2 games under their belt, haven't exactly been pushed to their limits in either of them. But they have come here to South Korea, an exhausting, very demanding trip to the Far East. But they look fresh, they look sharp, and now Zaragoza underlining my point. Unfortunately, it's about his 3rd touch there, the one that let him down. The first and second weren't so bad. He's going to have a tough time of it, Zaragoza, asserting himself in those wing positions, but you cannot deny that when he comes onto the pitch and he touches a ball, things happen. Oh, shot from range is a glorious effort. Pedro Porro, eat your heart out. Tottenham have a goal back. The arrears are reduced, and it's game on in the Seoul World Cup Stadium. A thunderbolt that was thunderstruck from Pedro Porro. Gives Tottenham a lifeline in this pre-season friendly. Just flitted into a pocket of space, put his laces through it. All right, at full stretch. But such was the power, pace and precision on the ball that he could not keep it out. And the Tottenham contingent finally have something to cheer about here in the South Korean capital. Zaragoza clattered into there by Jan Bissouma. Son is not happy with the treatment he's received tonight. The message there to the referee was it's not 1, 2, 3, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 challenges now that he feels he's been on the receiving end of. I mean, Sacha Boey doing what many of the fans here in the World Cup Stadium would like to do, giving Heung-min Son a hug. Fortunately, not within the rules of the game. And that will be Boey's last piece of action here. Noussair Mazraoui coming on in his place. Meanwhile, we're also going to get a glimpse of Nestori Irankunda. As Matisse Tel, after an exhausting evening, demanding intensity from his replacement there. Irankunda, who has scored in both of Bayern's pre-season games so far. He got 1 goal in the 14-1 win against Rotach Eken, along with an assist and a second goal that could have been put on his account but didn't. And then the all-important equaliser. As I say that, Bergvall almost with the all-important equaliser there. Bayern cut apart by the Pedro Porro pass. And Lucas Bergvall with a golden opportunity to level the scores with what would have been a quick-fire double for Tottenham. And now you can see Vincent Kompany pointing to his head on the sidelines. He said it was okay to not be 100% physically fit, but it wasn't okay to not be 100% mentally ready or mentally involved in a game like this. And having taken that 2-goal lead and fashioning such a promising position for themselves, Bayern do not want to let it slip in the closing stages here. Just over 20 minutes of normal time remaining. Of course, not helped by the multiple substitutions that have been made, but ultimately both teams have made substitutions, and those types of excuses are not ones that hold a lot of weight in Bayern München circles. Yeah, the constant demand is win, win, win. There's a demand that was not met last season. But in his debut campaign in charge, Vincent Kompany is hoping to turn things around. Licina combining here with Zaragoza. Oh, lovely, neat play. Zaragoza just couldn't squeeze the final pass from down there on the byline, but what a little flick around the corner that was from Adin Licina, 17 years old. Brennan Johnson down the other end. Cross not exactly dealt with by Mazraoui, but Bayern are going to get away with it. Mazraoui now will have to shift out. Son was unable to wriggle free, but Tottenham have won it back well. Kulusevski. Back post, there's a man over, and Mazraoui had to get his head to the ball. Had he not, Jamie Donnelly might have been the grateful recipient for another golden opportunity. But Tottenham right now in a bit of a power play situation where they're coming on strong. Bergvall. Great corner. It's Alfie Devine with the flick on. Bergvall, cheeky back heel. Gets a few oohs and ahs from the crowd. Now Bayern can clear their lines, and now Zaragossa's on the run. Tottenham have taken the risk, thrown everyone forward for the corner. Unfortunately, Zaragoza forgetting to take the ball with him. All of a sudden, this game has become end-to-end, it's really opened up. It's been dynamic and expansive from start to finish. But now with some tired legs and tired minds on display, a few more mistakes, a few more gaps opening up. Just think, if he'd taken that touch in his stride, Zaragoza's clean through on goal with only Vicario to beat. I have to say as well, big feature of pre-season, and you can notice it in this game as well, is how communicative Vincent Kompany is as well. Constantly in touch with his players, sharing thoughts, demands, advice. We're gonna have another drinks break now. I think it looked like Tottenham were readying some changes that might be made during this cooling period. For now, for Bayern, it's a chance just to cool off, because it's been an intense last couple of minutes with the Tottenham onslaught. And we see the effort from Kulusevski that went just wide of Sven Ulreich's post. Goretzka then making it 2-0 to Bayern. The player who has a real point to prove in the coming campaign, and he's not alone in the Bayern ranks either. Leon Goretzka says he admires Toni Kroos, German international, Real Madrid player that retired from professional football this summer at the end of a glorious career. But he said he admired him for his ability to always find solutions. Here we see the changes ready for Tottenham. Timo Werner, the former Leipzig player, a man once linked with a move to Bayern, is in amongst them. Seems to have found a new home with Spurs and a nice fit with head coach Ange Postecoglou. Well, plenty of changes, one in goal. Captain's armband is being dished out as well. Going to go to Oliver Skipp, the Tottenham Academy graduate. But a chance like Min Jae Kim had earlier in this game for Heung-min Son now to receive his plaudits and a standing ovation from a sold-out Seoul World Cup stadium, who have come here to see their two South Korean stars showdown. We didn't quite get a moment where Son took on Kim one-on-one. Kim admitted before the game that he's only ever faced Son as an opponent in training, but ultimately said that Tottenham are not just about Sonny, and that Bayern will have to defend well against him and the other talented players that Spurs have in their ranks. Right now we've got just under 15 minutes remaining. Bergvall hustled off the ball, and now Aaron Kunda trying to make something happen. He's gone past Emerson, and Bergvall with a bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder barge that sends Aaron Kunda tumbling. Unfortunately, Aaron Kunda, the young Australian. That is a welcome to the highest level, because physicality is all part of the game. He's got that pocket rocket figure, Nestori Irankunda. But if he can learn to ride the challenges like that one put in by Bergvall, it's only going to serve him well as Timo Werner goes for goal. Took a slight deflection on its way through as well. Sven Ulreich, though, saw it the whole way, and a relatively comfortable save in the end. Irankunda finds support in Paulinho. Lovely ball out to his Iberian counterpart, Brian Zaragoza. Move the ball, move the ball. That's the shout from Vincent Kompany on the sidelines. Deutscher Fußballmeister FCB is the chant now from the Bayern fans in attendance, who have definitely got their songbooks out today. They've had a fair few of the Bayern chants that they've prattled out tonight. Oh, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other there between Adin Lacina and Oliver Skipp, though I think Lacina probably deserved the referee's whistle to go his way on that occasion. Bergvall, who's been a bright spark in the second half. Pass cut out and eventually cleared by Bayern's backline after a bit of miscommunication as to who was taking responsibility for the situation. Now Porro. Nice idea from Mazraoui, just didn't quite pull it off the way he wanted to. Around the corner it goes from Porro. Drilled in, and all it needed was a touch. Mickey Moore with the devilish delivery from this near side that somehow ghosted all the way between the Bayern lines. Just needed someone taking a gamble there to apply the finishing touch, but no one had spotted the opportunity. Pedro Porro now replaced by George Abbott, as we've had a whole host of young stars now brought on by Ant Postecoglou, the Tottenham head coach. Well, no guesses for who Kompany's trying to get in touch with there. Irankunda does well to hold up the play there, but did play Stanisic into a bit of pressure with the pass. Stanisic coping with it well initially, but loses out, and then snaps back in there at the last, Josip Stanisic, to atone for the momentary error. Tottenham may be sensing that there is a second goal in the offing for them here if they can carve out the opportunity. Noel Aseko coming on in place of Josip Stanisic now for the closing exchanges. Maybe just as a reaction there to the moment we just saw, Josip Stanisic perhaps a little bit on the tired side after what has been an intense first game of pre-season for the Croatian international. But a lot to like about his performance today. looked really good. Josip Stanisic, his reading of the game, his ability to cut out the danger. Admittedly, all right outlet passes have not been as proficient as we saw from Manuel Neuer in the first half. In terms of the build-up play, Dyer scrapping away. And Moore trying to turn it around the corner. Couldn't work the angles in his favour. Confirmation of the attendance for this capacity crowd. Not more you could ask for from the Audi Summer Tour 2024, the showpiece event, this friendly between Bayern and Tottenham. Wonderful backdrop, gorgeous conditions in terms of the weather, a little hot, it has to be said. Now the floodlights on under the night sky. A sold-out crowd taking in the splendours that these two teams have to offer. They've had a chance to see their stars in action. Now it's the youngsters that are trying to catch the eye of their respective head coaches. I need to be wary, though. They would like a positive result here in the form of a victory. Letting a 2-0 lead slip, even in pre-season, is something that this team don't want to make a habit of. Nice pass to break the lines. Lima caught Bergvall, but play goes on. Advantage played and then brought back for the foul on Bissouma. Mentioned the fact that Bayern get their competitive action underway against SSV Ulm, the second-tier side in the first round of the DFB Pokal. And then they open their Bundesliga season on foreign soil as well, with a trip to the Autostadt of Wolfsburg, where they will take on Ralf Hasenhüttl and the Wolves. And now it all got a bit scrappy, but Mickey Moore couldn't make anything of it. Alfie Devine now gets the ball back from Bergvall. That's a nice ball. The offside flag scuppering Tottenham's attempts to push for this second goal that would level the scores. The host of substitutions haven't helped Bayern's rhythm in this game. Still plenty that you can take from this performance and point towards as a positive omen for the way they are looking to start life under Vincent Kompany. And that game against Wolfsburg certainly won't be the easiest opening fixture for Bayern. Then their first home game against Freiburg on match day 2. Back-to-back away games against Kiel and Werder Bremen in the north of Germany on match day 3 and 4. And then the blockbuster tie on match day 5 on home soil at the Allianz Arena. It is the reigning title holders, Bayer Leverkusen, coming to Munich, where they will take on the record title holders, who will be hoping to send a statement in the title race at the earliest opportunity on that occasion. But certainly a very tantalising prospect to have that mouth-watering encounter so early on in the season. The title, make no mistake about it, will not be won or lost on match day 5, but nevertheless might give us an indicator as to where the title race might be run. Apologies to you watching at home. A few technical difficulties with the feed that we're getting from the Seoul World Cup Stadium, and as a result, we have momentarily lost pictures, so bear with us. I can promise you that the relevant people are doing the relevant work behind the scenes to try and solve the issue and get us back up online for the closing stages of this pre-season friendly between Bayern München and Tottenham. All part of the Audi Summer Tour 2024. A sold-out World Cup stadium in Seoul. And now we are back with the action. So thank you to those behind the scenes who probably just restarted the system, let's be honest. Just turn it on and turn it off and turn it on again. Seems to fix it sometimes. Hopefully we go uninterrupted for the closing minutes here. There is a precious time left on the clock. Tottenham wouldn't say no to an equaliser. Bayern looking just to manage the game to a successful end. Maintaining their unbeaten pre-season. Bouncing back from the disappointing 1-1 draw against 1. FC Düren. And winning out in the first of a double-header against Tottenham, the second game of which will take place next Saturday, the 10th of August, in London. Iran Kunda now has the freedom of the Seoul World Cup Stadium. No one really up in support. Iran Kunda has to go it alone. Drawing a good save out of Brandon Austin, but can't keep his record of scoring in every pre-season fixture up just yet. Will there be one more chance? It remains to be seen. Time is of the essence. Asnu! Well, Lima wanted the ball back and didn't get it. Asnu, on that occasion, a little selfish. A player who has represented Morocco and Spain at youth level on the international circuit. Born in Barcelona, 6 times he was an unused substitute for Bayern last season under Thomas Tuchel, recently signing a contract extension until 2027, so they clearly think a lot of the future he has ahead of him, Adam Asnu. And has caught the eye in pre-season. Not enough to potentially stake a claim of dropping Alphonso Davies or Rafael Guerreiro down the pecking order, but enough to suggest that he could fill in if needs be this season. Werner trying to exploit that pace of his. Tottenham denied the corner in the end as well. Well, not as much urgency in the work being done by Bayern in transition. 5 minutes of time added on at the end of this second half, though, for us to enjoy. We will, of course, have a cut down of the highlights from tonight's game on the various Bayern channels, but in particular on fcbayern.com, so if you want to tune into the highlights afterwards. That's how to do it. We will also have coverage of the post-match press conference. If you want to hear what Vincent Kompany has to think or say after a 2-1 win right now as things stand against Tottenham. And of course, stay tuned because we will have live and exclusive coverage of that second game against Tottenham next Saturday. The penultimate pre-season friendly for Bayern, who close out their summer months and the summer preparations with a game in Unterhaching against WSG Tirol on the 13th of August. The offside flag was up quickly. Zaragoza nevertheless producing an eye-catching finish there. Frustrating afternoon or evening for him after coming off the bench as a half-time substitute. Maybe an indication of something that Nestor Irankunda does have to learn, perhaps quickly here on the Bayern books. It's working out how to interpret his role as the lone striker or a winger when it comes to the press that Bayern want to apply. You could hear there Vincent Kompany was calling to him to close down the centre-back who was on the ball. You can see he's actually in quite close communication with the young Australian in terms of where he wants him on this near side. It's a benefit for Irankunda to be on this left wing. Now wants Zaragoza to give chase as well. It all has to be a coordinated effort in the eyes of Vincent Kompany. An elite centre-back back in his day with title-winning pedigree to his name as well. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he wants. He has a clear vision for this side that he wants them to get on board with quickly and start executing with confidence. Offside flag again up against Brian Zaragoza. Needs to hold his runs a little bit better. I want to say that's about the 4th or 5th time now. And again, he doesn't need, he's got the pace. He doesn't need the head start. Hold the line there and he's racing clean through on goal. Potentially putting Bayern 3-1 up and putting the icing on the cake of this positive pre-season friendly. Licina loses out. Mazraoui does not. Licina trying to wriggle his way through. Still going, Licina. He was cut down at the ankles about 3 or 4 times in that phase of play. But wonderful determination shown by the young 17-year-old. He only made his debut for the Bayern reserves team on the final match day of last season. Capitalised on the opportunity by scoring in that game. But at 17 years of age, there's no rush. Eric Dyer seems to have come off worse for wear in a clash with Bergvall. Ball not put out of play just yet, but I'm not sure everyone's noticed that Dyer needs treatment for now. Maybe a chance for that 3rd goal. Zaragoza! Cuts inside, wants the penalty. Emerson Royal not happy with the attempts from Zaragoza to win the spot kick. Irankunda now. Closed down just momentarily. Zaragoza is going to go down to ground now after that challenge. Well, in a pre-season friendly like this, it won't be a major talking point. A game that has lost its shape and structure somewhat, given the tired legs out there, given the numerous substitutions and then the amount of youth that's now on display. But it is a successful trip to Seoul, South Korea for Bayern München as they win the showpiece event of the Audi Summer Tour 2024 with a 2-1 win against Tottenham. 1 goal either side of half-time. Scored by Gabriel Vidovic and Leon Goretzka, putting Bayern on course for victory. Pedro Porro pulled one back, but it was not enough to deny Bayern victory in the South Korean capital. It has been an intense trip, a demanding trip, an exhausting trip, but it has a positive end here for Bayern. They travel back to Munich on Monday, the 5th of August, where they will continue their pre-season preparations. 2 more pre-season friendlies left, 1 more against Tottenham in London in a week's time, and then the game against WSG Tirol. Of course, you will have live and exclusive coverage of both of those fixtures here on FC Bayern TV+, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you tune in. Tonight it was a showdown of South Korean superstars. Min Jae Kim and Hyun Min Son both had some bright moments across the course of the 90 minutes, but it's Min Jae Kim who emerges victorious as Bayern are 2-1 winners in the Seoul World Cup Stadium. James Surrogate, your match commentator. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. For now, I will wish you a wonderful rest of the weekend. Catch you again next time.